How's it going, everyone? My name is Joe Cox, and thank you for tuning in to Joe C. Cox Photo. As always, we do have a new plant for the video. Second, this is an unscripted video. And third, this video will cover my own personal experiences and workflows, so there will be some things included, some things excluded. Today's video, though, we are covering a basic guide to color theory, so definitely very useful, especially in the worlds of photography and videography. But I do want to make the quick note that there is going to be quite a bit of kind of terms and knowledge covered, so you might see this video kind of jump around a little bit just to keep things flowing smoothly and just make sense. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on in. So, the very first question you might be asking yourself is, what is color theory? Well, in visual arts, color theory is the practical use and guidance on color mixing and selection, along with the effects of specific color combinations. What does that mean? Essentially, it's how do different colors affect the perception of your work. That is what color theory is all about, is just kind of seeing how different colors work together, don't work together, and how they create a different perspective for your audience. Now, you can kind of break color theory down into three big areas. So you've got the color wheel, you've got color harmony, and then you've also got the context of how colors are used. We are going to start in part one with the color wheel. So, what is the color wheel? Well, the color wheel is just a visual it's just a visual organization of color hues and their relationship between the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. All right, so let's talk about some of that terminology. So, primary colors. What are primary colors? Well, there's three of them. It's red, yellow, and blue, and they are the primary colors because they cannot be created from mixing other colors. Second, and secondary colors. What are secondary colors? Secondary colors are colors that are created by mixing two adjacent primary colors. There's three of them. You've got green, orange, and purple. So if you were, for instance, to mix yellow and blue together, you would get green. If you were to mix red and yellow together, you get orange. And if you were to mix red and blue together, you get purple. That's how we land at our secondary colors. Then lastly, you do also have tertiary colors. And you might be saying like, hey, hold on, what are those? Tertiary colors are a mixture of a primary and a secondary color. So it might be a blue with an orange. It might be, I don't know, a red with a purple, things like that. So again, tertiary is mixing of primary and secondary colors. All right, some other important notes or key terms to know with the color wheel is going to be hue, tint, shade, and tone. So what is hue? Hue is specifically just one specific color. That is quite literally all it is. Hue and color are pretty synonymous with each other. You can kind of switch them around and it's not the biggest deal because, again, a hue is one specific color. But what is a tint? A tint is a hue plus white, so you're kind of raising the brightness. What is a shade? A shade is a hue plus black, so you're kind of lowering that brightness to it. And then lastly, what is a tone? Tone is simply when you have the hue and you add neutral gray to it, or equal combinations of white and black, so it will kind of make it less intense of a color. So that moves us into the second part, which is going to be color harmony, and you might be asking yourself, well, what is color harmony? Color harmony is the characteristics or properties that certain color combinations have that create a pleasing contrast. So pretty simple, you hear it all the time, like complementary colors. Not to get ahead of myself, but those are just two colors that are opposites on the color wheel, and they're complementary because when you compare them side by side, they produce a very nice contrast for us. All right, so talking about some of the terminology that goes alongside color harmony, first that I do want to cover is going to be warm versus cool colors. So warm colors are red, yellow, orange, and they provide a sense of energy, a sense of brightness, a sense of actionability, whereas cool colors, on the other hand, are going to be blue, green, and purple, and they're going to bring about a sense of calm, a sense of serenity, or kind of a sense of peacefulness. So kind of getting into some specific color harmonies. First we've got is analogous, and analogous is just going to be multiple colors that are adjacent or right next to each other on the color wheel. Next we've got monochromatic colors, and those are going to be one color hue, but it's going to go along the tint, shade, and tone range. So that's going to be where your different colors come in. Next, we do have triadic colors, and triadic colors are basically 3 different colors in the color wheel that are split evenly and form a triangle. And then we do also have complementary colors. Talked about those before, but that is simply one color and an opposite color on the color wheel. Then we've got split complementary, where you'll have a base color followed by 2 secondary colors. And then lastly, we do have square or tetradic, I think. But long story short, it's 4 different colors, and they form a perfect square on the color wheel. So those are a few different color harmonies to know. And then lastly today, we are going to be also talking about the context of how colors are used. The 2 big kind of things that we're looking at is color behavior, and then also the psychological effects of different colors. So with color behavior, it kind of sounds a little interesting, but for an example, if you were to take a red triangle that's a little bit, blurred out, and you were to put it on a bunch of different backgrounds, you'll notice that it kind of takes on a different color and shape depending on what background or what other color it's paired with. So that's kind of one of the big ideas behind this context of color use. And then the second part is kind of the psychological effects of color use. So it kind of changes depending on the culture you're in. But for us here in the US, just a few examples, like white is kind of provided with this idea of purity or innocence. Black, the opposite way, can be kind of murky or kind of this kind of sinister feel to it. Red is like a powerful color. Blue is a very calming color. Yellow is very energetic. So that is going to kind of cover our color theory lesson today. Keeping it pretty brief and short. Hopefully it didn't jump around too much and get too confusing, but it is pretty simple stuff, especially once you start to know the terms and how they all kind of apply to each other. Last thing I do want to leave you guys with today is going to be a kind of bonus tip of always making sure that your colors are on point. And that is going to be using Adobe Color. Adobe Color is incredibly powerful. You can use it in a lot of different ways. It gives you a lot of different color harmonies. And the nice thing is you're not trying to like sit and guess and check with a color wheel. It is going to automatically give you your analogous, your monochromatic, your split complementary, any color combination that you need. It will basically provide it very easily for you and give you the color numbers or the color names or the color codes, however you want to phrase that. So it does make matching colors very easy in your work. But otherwise, guys, that is going to be today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, or what else you'd like to see on this channel, this page, this channel, same thing. But yeah, guys, I do appreciate you. Don't forget to give it a like, a comment, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. It does help me out, and it helps make sure that everyone out there can learn something new about photo and video. Otherwise, thank you guys so much, and I will catch you on that next video. Bye.